Whether it's recreation or work or any such thing, men tend to derive their meaning, their significance, and part of their self-worth from what they have accomplished. If you find a man who says, I'm a failure, usually that will have something to do with the fact that he doesn't feel like he's accomplished what he could have accomplished at that point in his life. I failed. Or if a man has succeeded, oh, that man, he's got his own business. Oh, he has his own business with 300 employees. They do, $2.4 million in business a year. Oh, he's a success. Now, what about Eve? Based on both the pre- and post-sin descriptions of Eve's roles, and don't miss this, men, this is critical. Just as a man derives a significant part of his existence and his self-worth from what he accomplishes with his hands, a woman's self-worth, existence, and meaning in life is tied not to what she does, but to her husband. Do you see that? Yes or no? Pre-sin, what was her job description pre-sin? She's a helper. What did God say about her role post-sin? Your desire will be for your what? Husband. Now, beloved, don't miss that. If a woman derives a woman, in this case your wife, if she's deriving a significant part of her worth, her self-worth, her value, and the reason for existence from you, and that is not going well, or you're working too much, or you're an absentee husband and an absentee father, if her meaning for life and existence for life and reason for existence is tied up with you, this is going to be very determinative for how your relationship will work itself out on a day-to-day basis. Because here's the thing, friends. You're not going to like this very much. I'm going to say it anyway. If a marriage is falling apart, I get myself into trouble when I tell this to men, but I'm going to say it anyway. If a marriage is falling apart, it is always at least 60% the man's fault. Now, I'll put an asterisk there and say, in the rare occasion such is not the case. The rare occasion, less than 1 in 1,000. I want to repeat it. If a marriage is falling apart, it is at least 60% the man's fault. Usually more. Now, you're sitting there thinking, perhaps, this preacher is crazy. He doesn't know my wife. Right? If he knew my wife, he would change that silly theory of his in 2 seconds flat. Beloved, listen to me. Your wife is taking cues from you. You hear me? If a marriage has fallen apart, it is largely because a man has not created the spiritual, familial environment in which a woman can feel safe and secure in that marriage. Amen. Now that stings a little bit. I'm not here to discourage you. Why is that? Why is it the case that it is primarily the man's fault whenever a marriage falls apart? It's because the woman's self-worth, not entirely, but largely, is tied up with you, with who you are. If you create a good environment, you'll have a good marriage. Period. Are there exceptions to that? Sure. Sure, there are always exceptions. But on the whole, you create a spiritual, healthy, wholesome, romantic environment in your home. You proactively do that. Your wife will respond to that. She will take her cues on how she responds to you from the way you conduct yourself. You're the leader. She derives much of who she is from you, not from what she does. That's not the way a woman's mind thinks. It's not that she goes and does things and therefore she's a success. She's taking her cues from you. If you set the tone, she will follow. You set a negative tone, she will follow, and then you have problems. Are you hearing me, yes or no? Now, beloved, just understanding that one difference. You can literally remove a woman's reason for existence. You can shatter her entire world by being a workaholic. Right? You can shatter your wife's entire world by spending more time with your friends than with her. Right? There's not a man on the planet, probably, that doesn't have that wrestling tension sometimes with his wife about time with the guys or time with you. Time with the guys or time with you. And that's always hard for us to understand. But friends, it's not hard to understand if we can begin to remember that you are the whole reason, I don't want to speak here in overgeneralizations, but I'm going to speak that way just so we can get the point into our minds. You are a significant part of the reason that your wife exists. She's taking her cues from you, and if she feels like she is just the caboose in your marriage, if she is just a part of your life, and you are the whole reason for hers, this will crush her out. Are we on the same page, yes or no? You are the engine that drives her life, her reason for existence. She is taking her cues from you, and if your wife feels like she is only one part of your life, one helping among the salad bar, then she'll feel crushed out, and you will have an unhappy marriage. Friends, if you have an unhappy wife, you'll have an unhappy marriage. Think about it this way. If a church goes into apostasy, say your church, and your church goes into apostasy because your unfaithful pastor is preaching apostasy, will God hold the church responsible, yes or no? Will God hold the church responsible if the church falls away, yes or no? Now let's think that through. Let's say you have a church of 100 people, and you have a pastor that stands up and preaches some craziness, right? And let's say that 70 members in that church fall away and go after the pastor's nonsense. Will God hold those 70 members accountable for going after the pastor's nonsense? Yes or no? Come on, beloved, of course. Why? Because every one of those 70 has a brain and a Bible they can think for themselves. They don't have to go along with what some charismatic leader says. Does God hold them responsible? Yes. But who does He hold more responsible? The leader. Now, if we as men can say with almost unanimity here, with what would no doubt be unanimity, if we can say here that in that circumstance, the pastor is more accountable than the parishioners. Are the parishioners accountable? We all say what? Yes, but who's more accountable? The pastor. And we say, well, why? That's not fair. How come the pastor's more accountable? Because he's the leader. Now, if we can say with objectivity that is true in a church situation, then we need to say with equal objectivity that it is true in a marriage situation. If God has called you to be the leader and the whole thing has gone to hell in a handbasket, do all the other members of that family have responsibility and a burden to bear? Is there culpability there? Sure there is. But where does most of the culpability lie? With you. Amen. Now, let's move from that difference. I'm going to continue to unpack that difference. But men, that alone, I tell you, just understanding that your wife, even if you're a bad husband, that's the amazing thing about women. Even if you have been a pathetic husband, like a bad one, if you will turn around, your wife will love you just as if you had been a great husband all those years. God has put into the heart a willingness to forgive in the heart of a woman, if and when the man can step up to the plate and be what God has called him to be. Just knowing that one central difference alone, that your wife is going to take her cues from you as to how she conducts herself in a marriage, that alone can help you tremendously.